Down 2-0. If it's anything in the tank, you're gonna find out in Game 3.
Wow.
If there's anything in the tank.
Would you believe an ESPN analyst this morning said that the Astros would take the series in 5 games?
Oh, wow. I'll be honest with you, it would not surprise me that an analyst for them to say something like that. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. That, my friend, I would have to see. That's something I would really have to see. What's your opinion on it? You think you agree with that?
No, I don't. I don't agree with it. I think it's going to be a closer series than that. I think the Astros will be lucky if they get it in 6, but I think this series goes 7 games. I think the Dodgers are going to win both games in LA in 1 and 2. I think the Astros come home. It's going to be a repeat of basically the Yankees.
Right.
Dodgers are going to win at home. Astros are going to win all 3 at home. Go back to LA up 3-2. Dodgers will win Game 6, and Game 7 is going to be up for grabs.
I think that's the stretch. I think that's the stretch in it for me. The idea that if the Astros after losing 2 games got it in them to win 3 straight, home field advantage does mean something, but that's a little far-fetched. 3 in a row, that means the Dodgers just went cold turkey for. But then again, the Nats did it, so I wouldn't put it past them. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I wonder which one of us will be right.
I think you're still upset that your Nationals lost.
Yeah, I'm so highly upset about it. I'm trying not to focus on it too much because the only way I can feel bad is be like, well, what happened to the Yankees, man? And I know that's like striking a nerve, misery love company.
Yeah,
it's
all right.
We don't get down like that.
Yeah, there's already some other fools that already tried to go down that road with me.
Yeah, I know you. I know you plead your case better than anybody. You're like the perfect quarter pointer for the Yankees.
Well, and I'll tell you what I said. You know what? Congratulations to the Astros. They were the better team. They beat the Yankees. They did it at home like they were supposed to do. But let me put this in perspective for you. The New York Yankees were projected to not even be in the playoffs this year. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for the New York Yankees. And here they are in the ALCS, and they take the Stros to 7 games.
Very impressive. So that means they really shouldn't have a whole lot of recalibrating to do, but I imagine they will. When you're talking about a perennial powerhouse like the Yankees, close series or close games is something they're used to when you have a tradition of dominating like they do. So I definitely look to see them come back stronger next year. Me personally, I just don't know what else the Nationals can do when they've already bolstered the roster and done so many things. I want to make some statements, but ain't nobody gonna listen to my thing. But me personally, I just think Dusty, the game is far exceeded Dusty's understanding of it. He's a great manager, but they need somebody with the ability to adapt to what the playoffs bring far better than what Dusty Baker did. So that's just my opinion. I'll never be the one to say get rid of somebody, but I'll definitely be the one to say light a fire up underneath and let them know there's a lot more severe than just, hey, we got to the playoffs, we did good, let it be. I know the Yankees' situation, and for them to get to where they were with the talent that they had, knowing that they're going to retool and be able to do what they did was very impressive. But I don't think the Astros are that team. I just don't. I don't think the Astros are that team.
Well, we're going to find out, that's for sure. All right, so the college football top 25, and we're going to change some things up here, Wayne. We're going to just do picks on the top 10.
I like that idea, and I would support it.
Yeah, I think it's time. If you're not in the top 10 at this point, you have no shot at getting at the Final Four and getting into the college football playoffs.
Right.
So
okay, that's a good assessment.
So real quickly, what I'll do is I'll just run down the 11 to 25, so everybody knows who's in there. So number 11 right now is Oklahoma State. They're getting ready to face number 22 West Virginia. ESPN predictor predicts Oklahoma State to win 72.5% on that game. Number 12 is Washington. They're fixing to face UCLA. Virginia Tech is facing Duke. They're at number 13. Number 14 is NC State. They've got a big game, and we'll talk about that one coming up. Number 15, Washington State. Number 16 is Michigan State. 17 is South Florida. 18 is Central Florida. 19 is Auburn. 20 is Stanford. 21 is USC, dropping all the way from number 11.
That was really dramatic, yeah.
Very big drop. Number 22 is West Virginia. 23 is LSU. 24 is Memphis. And number 25, unranked, and now they get the 25th spot. It is Iowa State, and they've got a big game we're fixing to talk about here today.
Like how LSU creeped back into the 25 again.
Yeah, amazing how they've managed to do that. Unbelievable how there must be some love for the SEC somewhere, because ain't nobody else worth a damn.
Right. I think the game that probably will draw my attention if I was to sit here and say, if I had an option to call a game or go to a game, is that West Virginia matchup against Oklahoma State. I think that one will be huge, because if West Virginia could get the victory, that's going to definitely step Oklahoma State down a couple notches indeed. If they're going to continue to treat it like they did with USC. I think that West Virginia game is going to be one to watch. 72%, that's really counting them out. So we'll see, but we got that pretty much on lock. So you think the top 10 is all Staples?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, number one, Alabama. Of course, they have a bye week this week, and they have not changed. They've been number one since I think since dirt was invented.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'll be honest with you, Wayne. I'm getting to the point right now where I'm sick of seeing Alabama at number one, because and I'm sick of seeing it because they're not playing anybody. They're not playing anybody. And why do they keep the number one spot when other teams who are playing nobody win big and get no movement whatsoever? No movement whatsoever. Yet Alabama.
That's touching.
I mean, it is. Yeah. I mean, Alabama
goes number one. Alabama's been number one since Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the commandments. It's crazy how they got them posted like that. But like you said, I'm waiting to see them play another top 10 team to justify them being there. And we may not see that kind of matchup until they play for the national championship.
Exactly. And that to me, that's the problem. They face Texas A&M. They come into College Station, and it ends up being a closer game than I think anybody expected that game to be.
Right.
But yet they lose. They lose no position whatsoever. They get taken to the brink by an unranked Texas A&M team.
And that's why they use the term any given Sunday. But at the same token, it looked like their strength of schedule would have been something more apropos to justify them being able to hold it like that. But I think we'll see how it plays out, because in another light, the same way we sit here and say they haven't played anybody, when they actually run into a team that actually gives them a solid game and they have to play from behind by more than 2 touchdowns, you'll find out how good this Alabama team really is. They pretty much steamrolled their way through the season, though, and some will argue that's strength of schedule. Some would say that's the depth of the team. I mean, we already cracked jokes about it, but Nick Saban didn't do everything but drink margaritas by second quarter. I
just don't get. I don't get it. They're not playing anybody. There is nobody, absolutely nobody in the SEC other than Alabama right now that is even worth a darn. And
yeah, everybody's showing they realistically can be beaten.
Yeah, and I just don't understand how when they play an SEC a conference game against an unranked and let's be honest, a wallowing Texas A&M Aggies team, and get taken to the brink in the game and they don't lose a spot in the poll. I don't understand that.
Right.
So
yeah,
number
and same. Go ahead.
So number 2, Penn State. This is probably the game of the week right here. Number 2, Penn State at number 6, Ohio State.
Penn State gonna win that game.
You say
Penn State. Solidify them in there. Yeah.
So you say Penn State. I'm taking Ohio State.
Really?
I think Ohio State. Yes, I think Ohio. It's in Ohio State. They're playing at the Horseshoe.
Of course.
And Ohio State has been tough. And ESPN Predictor shows Ohio State with a 71.7% chance of winning.
71? That's no. I think it's going to be, if they're going to get the victory, it's going to be far closer than that. So I guess now our opinions have flipped a little bit. The same way I believe the Dodgers is going to take it to the Astros, and you believe the Astros got more in them than I'm giving them credit for. I think it's the same thing with Penn State versus Ohio State. Ohio State looked real sharp and efficient, as well as the ability to play bully ball when they came down and they did what they did to the Terps. That was an example enough for me of what they can do. But I don't believe they can play that type of ball and go up against Penn State, who's going to look them right back in the face and do the same thing. For Penn State to get to the second slot and be above Georgia, there's some intangibles with that makes them a team to watch. So I really would be leery at the idea of Penn State giving up too much. I think it'll be a good game. Both teams will score pretty well, but I think Penn State will take it before it's over with just because of the depth. We'll find out. We'll find out for sure when they meet up. I'm really shocked you took Ohio State though.
Really?
You know? Yeah. I know there's certain nuances of teams that you look at. The nuances of teams that you look at and you favor, they first have to be able to establish the run. They got to play some bully ball or defense and be able to make smart decisions in the passing game. Those type of teams you tend to look at and look at well, but Penn State does that too. If anything, I would give Ohio State the edge in the special teams game, but I think Penn State will manage the clock and do a lot of the intangibles better. So I still think Penn State will pull it out. We will have to see who gets the Rick James music on this one.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we'll definitely see. I definitely don't agree with it. I don't agree with the 71.7% chance of Ohio State winning this game. I think this is going.
Okay.
I think this is going to be one of the best games in college football we've seen this year. This one's going to come down to the wire. I'm going with Ohio State with the fact that they're playing at home, and their home crowd always gives them that extra push edge when it comes to games like this.
Or it could be extra quiet if Penn State get by a nice lead.
And it could. If Penn State jumps in on them early and gets a sizable lead early, this could be trouble for Ohio State. But I think if it stays close throughout the entire game, I think when it comes down to it, Ohio State pulls it out and gets the upset over number 2 Penn State.
And I trust your opinion. That's interesting. We're going to see that. That's what I'm going to have to watch. I would expect those type of games. These type of matchups is what I would want to see Alabama do to justify them being such a lock at number 1.
Exactly.
And let's play a top 10 team to solidify them being that top spot like they are. But, you know, it's nice to see that at least you have that type of scheduling taking